Well, today we're going to have a look at love gardens and creating a romantic woodland walk. The first half of the video focuses on love gardens and some of the key features, and in the second half we'll take a look at actually making a romantic woodland walk. So this first slide shows a garden that we created in 1999 at Chelsea Flower Show on Main Avenue. One of my students, Chris Gregory, designed the garden, and you can see that there is the two lovers in the plan. There's an old villa, there's water features and mosaics, and there's lots of scent in the garden and palm trees and tumble down walls. In this picture you can see one of the lovers looking across at the other and towards the Monterey cypress Cupressus sempervirens. So in this slide you can see the stucco render on the walls, and you can see the mosaics. There were three mosaics running out from a gargoyle tumbled into the first mosaic, and then it run into the other three mosaics down a narrow river. There are lots of other gardens that we might consider a love garden. Alnwick Castle Gardens are fantastic up there in Northumberland, and I think Tim Schmidt commented on the fact that the garden should have places where you can steal a kiss at any time. So there's lots of little secret places. There's fantastic water features doing all sorts of different synchronized water effects, and lots of interesting sort of areas to spin off into. So Alnwick is definitely worth going to get some inspiration. This next garden we're looking at is called the Dorothy Clive Garden. It's over near Nantwich, and I've included this one because it's such a beautiful story of Colonel Clive building a garden for his wife who had Parkinson's. And he built the garden so she could exercise around it. It was an old sandstone quarry, and he planted lots of rhododendrons and lots of sort of oaks and trees, and in it there were lots of routes you could take with surprise views as well, and lots of scent. It's a fabulous garden, well worth a visit with their meandering paths through it. Of course, one of the big pluses about being in a bowl, and one of the best, some of the best love gardens are where you can hear birds. If you can get that sound of the birds and going in the cool of the day and walking around the garden, that's a really special time when it's quiet, or in the beginning of the day when the birds are singing. So in Valandry in France they have a not love garden. In the top left here you can see that there are daggers. This symbolizes tragic love, and it is often planted up in reds. To the right of that one, tender love. Tender love is depicted by hearts. There's 4 hearts creating symmetry, and there are masks like in a masquerade dance where people could sneak up to each other and whisper into each other's ears. In the bottom left is fickle love, indicated by yellow, and in the corners we have fans, and then there are butterflies in the middle, and then there are folded love letters. So that's fickle love. And in the bottom right we have true love, where it's hearts overlapping each other to create a sort of a dance theme in this knot garden. Of course, one of the greatest love affairs of all time was Empress Josephine and Napoleon Bonaparte. Around about 1796 they got together, and while Napoleon was out in Egypt fighting, Josephine bought Chateau de Malmaison with 150 acres and started creating this fantastic garden, full of course of beautiful roses, something like 250 different species in all. We used to have the old-fashioned rose collection at Broomfield, and one of our ideas was to get to 250, and we nearly got there. This was the last garden we created to get up to the 250. And unfortunately it got bulldozed and they created a big building on it. But roses are one of the greatest things to have in a love garden, whether it's a trelage with the roses running over, of course archways, and plenty of scent. And the thing to do is to create lots of interesting roses. One of my favourites is Chapeau de Napoleon, because it looks like Napoleon's hat when it's bursting forth. Then there's the moss roses and the beautiful David Austin roses, and roses like Gertrude Jekyll and William Lobb. And of course another famous rose, there are many, in the gardens of Cofton Court in Warwickshire,
they used to have the Rosamund Garden. Rosamundi is named after Rosamund. Rosamund was the mistress of Henry II, apparently. And so here she is, moving through the garden, surrounded by the beautiful raspberry ripple type Rosamundi.
So Bo Peterson had a lover, Maria Foote, and he created these gardens around about the 1830s, especially for just the two of them. She kind of could go in the gardens through the day, but wasn't really allowed out of the gardens. But the gardens had lots of interesting and exciting things, lots of places to explore. I've got this beautiful Moorish temple behind me to remind them of when they were in Tuscany. And then there are crowns, there's loads of topiary. You could play hide and seek for ages. And it's just a beautiful garden, lots of walkways around, different walkways around it, and lots of surprise views, just like the giant redwood. And there was, of course, the lovely sort of oolitic tufa limestone rocks capturing different views. It's a fantastic garden, and of course he employed William Barron, the great Scotsman, the guy who became so famous for moving large evergreen trees, some of them over 1,000 years old, and he successfully did it here. And the whole place has loads of beautiful cedars and pines and redwoods, and it's quite a spectacle, all year round colour at its best. Of course, one of the features of a garden for contemplation was a yew walk, where you could walk underneath the yew trees and just sort of give your mind something to relax and just contemplate and to think for a while. And here we go, we enter the love garden. There's the wattle birch bower we created. So in this part of the garden, what I'm trying to do is to create a little romantic walk that you come through. You can see you've got some beautiful plants, got a lovely, we're just going under a beautiful maple, camellia to the left, some hellebores down to the right, and you've got this beautiful Acer palmatum dissectum atropurpureum. And then I'm looking for stuff I'm going to take out actually. There's some cotoneasters here which aren't really a high value plant. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them out, I'm going to cut the buddleia back, because that's the time of the year anyway to cut that buddleia back. But I'll leave things like the pyrrhus, which is overhanging the path, to create a sense of mystique and just sort of that little bit of a romantic meandering pathway. So that's what I'm doing. So really what I want to do, come along here, I can see there's a nice picea, which is quite interesting actually. It's got a little bit of dieback, might have a bit of red spider mite or something like that, but this cotoneaster will go. There's quite a lot of bramble in there I notice as well. There's one or two roses which aren't great, and what I want to do is you come round, I want to create a kind of a sitting area underneath that cherry at the back. There's a sort of a choicea tenata in front of it which may have to go, I'm afraid. There's another choicea there, Sundance, and then sort of come round there and then come out around here through that rose, lose that rose, and then out. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, we're just going to do an update on the woodland walk, romantic walk, and the rest of the garden. So you can see here we're getting the camellias in. So we've got a camellia hedge. There's reds, whites and pinks in that. We've got a magnolia grandiflora, sort of, which will be kind of in this corner. But looking at the woodland, what we've done is we've exposed things like this beautiful Acer, and if you just follow me through, we'll just have a look. So we've got some edgings to go in. We've got these, they're quite nice. There's not a lot of flex in them. We'll probably have to curve them a little bit to get them to flex round, but we'll see how that goes. Obviously we'll put a membrane down to stop the weeds coming through, and then there'll be bark on top of that. And then, so you'll see things like these beautiful hellebores now, lovely acer. What we're doing is we're planting in, so I've got these beautiful Aura maculatum, Italicum maculatum. They're going to look good there. We've got hellebores, so I've got a whole load more hellebores, which I'll show you in a minute. We've got some pulmonaria, which doesn't look much at this time of the year, but it will look great in about April, May time. And then, so you can see here, we've created the space now, so around the cherry we can have a seat. And then I'm going to plant round. I've got a load more hellebores. We got a bit of an old stump here, so with that old stump what we're going to do is I'm going to plant a load of ferns. So this is one of my favourite ferns, this is Blacknum spicant. It's just fabulous. Look at it, it's just so good against the stump. And then I'll get some other ferns with more sword-like leaves, like Asplenium scolopendrium. We'll pop them through it. And what we've done here, we found an old sleeper, so we'll bury the sleeper to make like a step up, so it's all nice and rustic, and that'll be good. In this woodland path in, we've got this lovely 4x1 inch timber, which is slightly smooth. I normally go rough sawn, but this is quite nice. And I saw it in the timber place today, so that's what we're going to have. And so it's all pressure treated, and so what we're doing is just getting a bit of a bend on this and making this woodland path. And then we'll get it all screwed together, then we'll cut it all off, all the upright pegs we'll cut off. But you can see, if you look along the line, it's starting to get a nice curve to it. It's just about enough bend in it. Probably got a deflection of about 4 or 5 inches on this. So it's quite nice stuff. So that's the next stage, getting the woodland path in.
Ooh, so we've got the my pecs in. There's lots of different names for it now. The geomembrane in, just to stop the weeds coming through. We've got to put the limestone in. There's a little bit of trimming of the tops of the posts, and that'll be ready then, set up for whacker plating and then bark.
So we've got some curves to do on the path, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some kerfs in, so some cuts. It'll be about halfway through, just with the cross cut. Put a series of curves, and then we'll bend it round and create a nice sweet curve around the woodland path. I'll just do that now, just show you. So all I'm going to do, I'm just pulling it back. I can drop a spacer in. I've set the saw just so to about halfway through. Just cut it through. So I'm going about a couple of inches, 50 mil.
So the romantic walk continues. Well, we got quite a decent curve on that. We created a bit of perspective as well by narrowing it in a little bit, and as you go through the walk now, you've got the beautiful hellebores there. We've put loads of arums and Brunnera macrophylla. Look at that acer, fantastic. And then you'll come through here. Obviously we've got to bark the path, and you'll see where we've got a nice curve by putting those kerfs on that. Just got a little bit to finish here, and then we've exposed. So this is the finished article. Without the bench, but you can just have a nice romantic walk through here, and with the bark path it really does set it off. It just finishes it off nicely, and have a little circular seat in there, a little bit of finishing at the back to do, but with all the ferns and different things, it looks pretty good.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the video on how to make a love garden or romantic walk. Hopefully it's given you some pointers and some things that you need to include when you're creating a love garden. So why not have a go, even if it's a little portion of your garden. See you next time.